family and her husband and kids to celebrate this with her, but also reminds me again of how awesome of a process this is. So I'm going to start with that. Diana didn't bring her family, but I didn't tell her to bring her family. But we will start with Diana now. So again, I'm very pleased to announce you, hopefully the potential appointment of Diana Landry as the district's new school business and operations manager. With more than 15 years of combined experience in school financial leadership and business management, Diana brings strategic insight, financial acumen, and collaborative spirit to the role. Most recently serving as a senior business manager at Central Source Inc., Ms. Landry provided financial leadership to many Massachusetts charter schools, overseeing monthly financial reporting, grants management, procurement compliance, and DESI reporting. Prior to that, Ms. Landry was the Director of Finance and Human Resources at the Paulo Freire Social Justice Charter School, where she led budgeting efforts, implemented internal controls, managed multi-million-dollar operating budgets, provided oversight for facilities, transportation, IT, and personnel operations. Graduate of Nichols College with a Bachelor's of Science in Accounting, Diana has spent her career aligning fiscal responsibility with student-centered outcomes. Her leadership has been instrumental in guiding schools through audits, state reporting, grant management, and organizational restructuring. Diana, I'd like you to come up and say a few words, and obviously have the committee feel free to ask any questions of you.
Thank you, Superintendent Vera, for your introduction. I have sat here listening to the heads of schools speak about all the accomplishments that they have made over the year, and I am even more impressed than I already was after meeting the team that interviewed me with Douglas Public Schools. The large shoes I have to fill, Courtney, I appreciate that I will be able to spend time with you prior to your retirement, so hopefully we do have a seamless transition, and I hope to do half the job that you have done over these years for this community.
Any questions from the committee?
Welcome and congratulations. I feel like that those are in order. Certainly you have big shoes to fill, but I have no doubt that you will do great.
I do fine.
It's, I think it takes a unique individual to choose this path. And just the choice in and of itself should be congratulated and celebrated. So thank you so much, and we look forward to working with you.
Thank you. I look forward to working with you all. This is, yes, having school-age children or almost out of school-age children, education should be the forefront of taking care of everything with the kiddos. So I do believe in the mission. It's an easy mission to follow.
Would someone like to make a motion?
No, I would just like, congratulations. Obviously, I was on the interview panel. I just, it's the right fit, right? And that's really what we want to continue, that collaboration that we have and finding that right fit, because again, as people say, there's big shoes to fill, right? And we appreciate, as she was going through the interview process, it was like a seamless process for us. And I appreciate the fact that your foundation of your level of expertise was just like the right fit. And so we welcome you to our little humble community. You have big shoes to fill. I'm excited for you to come on board and grow our community and move us forward. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Without further ado, I'd be looking for a motion.
I will make that motion to appoint Diana Landry as the School Business and Operations Manager for Douglas Public Schools.
Motion made by Julia, second by?
Yeah, Peter Marco.
Oh, good. You go, Becky. You go.
Seconded by Becky. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Thank you so much and welcome to Douglas.
Welcome.
Thank you. I look forward to working with you all.
And next on the agenda is the potential appointment of Kate Buck as the Director of Special Education and Student Support Services. Children, make sure you listen to how cool your mother is now, all right? Pay attention. With over 16 years of experience in the field of special education, Kate Buck brings a deep commitment to student advocacy, inclusive practices, and collaborative leadership. Currently serving as a special education coordinator for both the middle and high schools in Douglas. She has built a career focused on ensuring that all students, regardless of ability, have meaningful access to the curriculum and school community life. Her approach is grounded in professionalism, compassion, and a student-centered philosophy, empowering learners to reach their fullest potential. Throughout her career, she's held key roles including behavior specialist, team chair, learning center coordinator, and special education coordinator. In each of these positions, she has designed and implemented individualized programs, supervised multidisciplinary teams, led IEP and discipline meetings, and ensured alignment with the Massachusetts curriculum frameworks. She has also worked closely with administrators on matters of student discipline, placement, and due process, contributing to systemic improvements and successful outcomes. A graduate of Fitchburg State College, she holds a Master's of Education in Special Education Moderate Disabilities with a minor in Applied Behavioral Analysis, along with undergraduate and postgraduate certifications in the same field. Her extensive background spans public schools and collaborative educational settings, including Framingham, Natick, and Northborough. Come on up, Kate.
Thank you so much, Superintendent Vieira. Thank you, everybody, for the opportunity. It's been just awesome to be on the process to get here. It was very thorough from the interview committee all the way up till the end, having the support of Dr. Rosenthal. Thank you. As I've gone through the process, it's just very awesome to be here, and I'm looking forward to working in Douglas and continuing to support the students and the families with my big point that students are always first. I truly believe that. I think it's evident through my work and the meetings I've had. I'm thrilled that my kids are here today and my husband to get to see that all mom's hard work does pay off. And I started as an ABA therapist and here I am today. So it's a true testament to who I am and where I've come. So thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations. I feel like I got to get the
Thank you.
I'm part of the crew. Congratulations. And I don't think welcome is necessarily the right term, but we're happy to have you stay and grow within the district. I think that in any workplace, whether it be a school district, corporate America, government, it's great to have someone, one of your own, grow here with us and stay with us. So again, this is really exciting, and we're happy to have you with us.
Thank you.
And I think that I just have to give you a lot of credit because being in education, I know every role in administration is difficult, but my hat off to you. Special education and student support is even more so. It is a huge job, and it is one of the most important in education. And you service not only a special group of students, but you really do work with all students and all families, and it's the backbone and so important to making sure that every student, and when you said it, like every student is getting an education.
Okay, well, I waited till last this time. Kate, I just want to, it's interesting. I've gotten to know you over the year. And one of the things I think for me that stood out was the comments and the feedback from our staff and how that they felt that they would want to work with you in that position. And I think I'm a little protective of our staff because they're amazing. And I think to me that stood out more than anything. And we've had our disagreements, you and I, over the year. But they were respectful disagreements and they were collaborative. And, I'm really interested, and I'll not ask you for it in 2 weeks, but I'm really interested to see what your 100-day plan is as somebody that's been here, that's been in the trenches, that knows our needs, that knows what we're doing, where we are. I'm excited to see that. And I hope that we can be part of your process to develop that, because I think that's critical.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I'll just echo what all of my colleagues have said. Welcome to the administrative side of the house, right? Careful what you wish for. We were able to grow one of our own within the district, which is always something that should be celebrated, right? But big shoes to fill. We're looking at, like I said, we're looking to how do we improve? We all have strengths and weaknesses, and how do we improve? Because at the end of the day, it is about all of our kids, our students. So
Absolutely.
congratulations to your family for joining us tonight. I know this is not the normal thing you want to do, right?
Quarter of 9 at night.
But it is important. It's a big step for your mom, and congratulations to you and your family.
Thank you very much.
And I think showing that you are a family person, that's huge.
Yep.
Very important.
So I move to appoint Kate Buck as a Director of Special Education and Student Support Services.
Motion made by Beth, seconded by?
Julia?
Seconded by Julia. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Congratulations and welcome to the position.
Thank you very much. Thank
Welcome.
you.
Have a good night. All right, next is the school committee meeting schedule for 2025-2026.
So just a couple of things to point out. July 25th will be a retreat. I think we're going to do it at the middle school library, still working with Lauren on a location. Typically, we have one meeting in August. However, if there's things that need to be signed in business that we need to attend to, we may add that second meeting. We do 2 a month, the first and third Wednesdays of every month. If you notice that on November, there's only one scheduled. Every year, the first week of November is the Joint Superintendent's School Committee Conference. Information is not out on that yet. We have budgeted for the entire committee to attend this year. It runs that Wednesday, I believe it's like the 4th or 5th, around noonish or so, and then typically goes to about Friday afternoon between 12 and 3. So that's the reason we only have one meeting in November, but also I want to give you enough time to look at your calendars and arrange childcare if you need to arrange childcare, whatever it is you need to do, and then Lauren will send something out once the dates and the hotels and everything have come out publicly for the committee to pick from. And then we have the rest of the schedule there, so.
The only thing I have is, I know that the Massachusetts law, I don't know if the state addressed the Zoom meetings expires this year. So I don't know if they picked it up and extended it for July 1st of 2021.
Was it supposed, we'll have to look, was it supposed to expire?
I'm kind of confused because I
Was
might
this-
be getting mixed up with
Thought we
something
were
else.
through the federal fiscal year.
I thought it was extended, but you know what?
I thought it was
Before we
extended.
say anything,
We'll
until
look.
we're positive, we'll make sure we check it out.
Yeah, I just want to make sure.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
I thought it expired on June 30th.
Yeah, we'll definitely confirm or
So
Yep.
deny or whatever, yeah. Okay.
I don't want us to be in trouble
Oh,
for
yeah.
public meeting
Nope.
laws.
Yeah.
But I know they were supposed to be taking it up in conference, so that's what I'm just saying. I just want to make sure on that, so.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Does anybody have any problems with these dates?
The 6:30 time slot still works.
Anybody want to do it earlier?
I don't know if Meg can do earlier than
Gotcha.
6:30.
Okay.
We can hold it till.
No, we don't have to. We can,
We can readdress
We
it.
can revisit.
yeah.
If no one has any objections, I'd be looking for a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Julia, seconded by?
Becky?
Seconded by Becky. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Thanks.
Last week, Dr. Rosenthal presented an update on our early intervention plan. In the past 2 weeks, he's had a conversation with legal, been able to go back and look at pieces of the plan. He's coming to present those updates and changes to you, and then hopefully have you vote to approve the plan. Dr. Rosenthal?
Thank you. So after talking to Michael Joyce, our attorney, there was a few different tweaks that we'll go over. We'll start with the very first one, page 4, section 2. He recommends no changes whatsoever in this, no addition to that. The reasoning behind that is school does cover school-related or school-sponsored events, so no need to add any more language in there. Just leave it as school. The second one, page 5, paragraph 2, he does agree to take out the specific programs. However, he also recommends that we add language saying that each school district, charter school, approved private day, or residential school and collaborative shall provide age-appropriate instruction on bullying prevention in each grade that is incorporated into the curriculum of the school district or school. The curriculum shall be evidence-based. This is verbatim, copy and pasted from what he sent, so I would highly recommend we use this revision. He was okay with page 9, section 1, the add of training for the staff on SEL classroom strategies, which would also incorporate the language above in page 5, the curriculum. So that would just kind of coincide. And then SEL classroom lessons are delivered to students. So again, he does agree with that. On page 9, section 2, we were looking at the previous policy identified only 3 subcategories of students. We were looking to just add in language of all previously mentioned protected classes. However, after talking to Michael Joyce, he said we just remove all language after students. They're all of our students, so it doesn't matter what the class is, just say, instead of referring back to it, so just keep it as all students. We had a little bit of discussion on page 10, paragraph 1. Language said obligated. We were recommending responsibility, and there was also some recommendations that the committee provided. Michael Joyce's recommendation is that all 3 kind of are the same. So he is recommending using the word expectation. So responsibility or obligation kind of mean the same thing. So what they want to do is just recommendation is just expected. Page 10, paragraph 2, he's in agreement that alleged goes before the aggressor. Since we did have alleged in other parts of this paragraph, it just coincides with the similar language. On page 10, paragraph 3, he agrees that striking out staff and change it to counselors because it truly identifies who it might be instead of saying staff. On page 11, paragraph 1, we were recommending adding specific location for these will be outlined in each building plan. Instead, he is recommending removing all language after community here. So you'll see that the school or district will make a variety of reporting resources available to the school community. And he's recommending just adding a period right there. And that way we wouldn't have anything that would be like including but not limited to insert report forms. He just recommends just ending it at community. That one's a little bit different, so is there any questions on that one? Okay. Page 12, section 1, we were proposing striking out harassment protection. He wasn't quite sure what that was for either. So what his recommendation is not to add what we were talking about, which is law enforcement protection from harassment. His is just to remove all language after charges. So the building principal or their designee have the ability to notify law enforcement agencies if they believe that there's criminal charges, period. Page 12, final paragraph, he's in agreement that adding emotional, so it's physical and emotional harm, so he's in agreement with that. And page 13, second paragraph, just to ensure that all the language align. The first sentence, it says the designee will, among other things, interview students. And what we're looking to do further down, third sentence, interviews will be conducted by the principal or designee, just so the language coincides with one another. Page 15, first sentence. So we previously were recommending specific disciplinary actions could be found within the student handbook. The revision that he's recommending is add in, so we're not going to say specific disciplinary actions. Instead, we're going to say in accordance with the provisions within the student handbook. So we're still identifying the student handbook, but not talking about disciplinary actions. And he's in agreement with page 15, the third section, that it's a redundant sentence and it's just a duplicate, and we can take that out.
Any questions?
I'm a little confused.
Yes.
So on number 5,
5.
in here on revision date 6/3, it says use the word expectation. So the student is expected to report instances of bullying. But then on the last page, it says not responsibility, but right.
Oh, that was my note, sorry. From our last meeting, I was putting nights, because that was a recommendation for the committee to use the right, and he said the word probably best used is expectation.
I appreciate that he's a special education attorney, but across the Commonwealth, there's kids dying by suicide. And so saying it's their expectation to report their bullying bothers me. I appreciate that you went to the attorney and that's what they said, but I have a very strong issue with that.
His thought process around that was that if we were looking to change obligated, so obligated, responsibility, and right are almost interchangeable words for this, but if we want to go back to that, we can.
Let me just jump in here. So I think I totally get what you're saying, and I agree with you, especially considering like all the things. But I think expectation doesn't carry with it so much weight. Like, sure, you're expected to do stuff. Doesn't mean you're going to do it. It doesn't sound like there's any penalty if you don't do it, you know? I guess my thought is, would you want a word that's stronger or no word?
I think, so I appreciate that. When I hear expectation, like it's expected that I clock in if I want to get paid.
Sure.
Right? To me, expected means I have to. And if a child is not feeling safe in the school and, well, it was expected that you told us you didn't, sorry. And I know that's not the intent. And I don't know what word to use, but that puts a lot of onus back on the student instead of empowering the student.
Sure.
But I also don't have a word
Right.
instead of this.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. Okay.
I fully,
Yeah,
I
yeah, now I get
fully
what
appreciate
you're
what
saying, yeah.
get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Principal school, admin school 101, when your attorney tells you
Yeah.
to do something, you follow the advice of your attorney, or else you get yourself into, and there's a reason why. I'm comfortable tabling this and having Greg go back and have another conversation with Mike Joyce. If the committee's uncomfortable with that word, I can appreciate it. But we do need to go back and have the conversation with Mike Joyce. After he's looked at it and said that's his recommendation, I'm uncomfortable for everyone involved to go against the advice of legal counsel.
If I might make a suggestion, 3 things are lumped in here that maybe shouldn't be lumped together. So students who believe that they are a target of bullying, so the alleged victim, right?
Yeah.
Then you have observe an act of bullying, so you have a witness, or who have reasonable grounds to believe that these behaviors are taking place, perhaps another witness. I think expectation works better for like the witnesses,
Like
right?
an upstander kind of.
Yeah, like a bystander, right? Like, oh, I just saw this, like, you have to be a good citizen and make a
Yep.
report. Whereas a student who's the target, I feel like those, and I don't know if it's possible, but break them
We
apart.
could tease about.
Yeah,
And then that way, we can have separate words.
Yeah.
They don't need, they're three very different scenarios.
they really are.
Can we talk to Michael Joyce about teasing that out?
Yeah.
Because this was specifically written as Mass General law, so there's a
Doesn't mean
lot
it's
of.
right.
So,
We
yes, so
can
let
be, we
me,
can be the forge runners.
so I could tease that out with
front.
him.
Yeah, let's have the conversation.
It's worth asking again. Yeah,
Again,
absolutely.
we can
Yeah.
come back, we'll come back on the
Yep.
18th and add it to
No
the
problem.
agenda, but
Yep.
again, this is important, and we want to get it right. And we need to make sure that everyone's protected, and again, we'll go back to Michael Joyce and have that conversation with him.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
That's why we do it.
Yeah.
Were there any other sections that I need to talk to?
I mean, since you're talking to him.
That's it. Sometime.
I know
Judged by
this
the
meeting
minute.
is the longest. Number 9, if it just ends at charges, it doesn't make, like, it's an incomplete sentence, I think. After receiving a report of bullying or retaliation, the principal will notify the local law enforcement agency if he or she or designee has a reasonable basis to believe that criminal charges.
Oh,
Are warranted, sorry.
Okay, so that we can't end after charges?
Yeah, sorry. So he wanted to take out the harassment component of it.
Okay, okay.
so it's warranted.
Thank you, that's it.
So we'll come back with just
Yeah.
Michael Joyce's recommendation, conversation in 5. What I'm going to ask Dr. Rosenthal to do is for everything else, start the incorporation process into the
I
full,
think that would be easier, yeah.
into the
Yeah.
full document,
Yeah,
into the full
definitely.
document.
Yeah.
Because again, I really want this up and out before the end of the school year, so we have it live and active for the beginning of the 25-26 school year. We'll do that on the 18th.
Yeah, and be clearer too, what it is you're voting on too, without the changes. And then we can just kind of highlight the areas that you question to look at.
If I may make the recommendation that we move to approve item bully chart changes, item number 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, and 13, we approve tonight. I would need a motion to approve those.
I'll make that motion to approve what the chair lady just said.
Motion made by Julia, seconded by
Becky.
Becky. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Thank you. So we at least get that part done so we can move forward. Come back with the language. If you could please have the language instead of like the verbiage, I get it, but what is the statement gonna be? Because I think that would help clarify for us, make it easier. Because number 5, I'm not a fan of. I'm
Yep.
just,
Okay.
Good to have multiple eyes looking at it. Absolutely. Thank you. All right, continuing on with a fun theme, we are diving into student handbooks at 9 o'clock at night. So, with that, and I know she's under the weather, we'll start with Cindy so she can present and then go home.
I really don't have a voice at all now. Sorry.
And I'd present for you if I knew what you had here.
Oh, my God. So under specialists, we're just doing a minor change and adding the word preschool and STEM, which was not there. Under dress code, we'd like to add in fancy shoes with heels and makeup, eyeshadow, lipstick are not appropriate for primary school. So we've
I
been
like my
seeing-
glitter, I'm sorry.
Glitter's fine, but no high heels, no eyeshadow, no lipstick. We're seeing a lot of it lately.
That's weird, yeah. Okay.
The next block is all based on our school nurse. She wanted to revise the whole setup, so it looks like it's a lot of changes. But under life-threatening allergies in the first section, there's not a lot there. So she really wanted to expand on some of these things. So she looked at other area schools and their policies and their handbooks, and everything that you see that's highlighted would be in the new. And that first section would be totally out. So a lot more detail on accidents, about medication, about the lead screening, vision, and so on. Immunizations, a lot more on the allergies, which is important, so she did a lot of work on what should be in there. Any questions? Anything?
No, I think it's pretty comprehensive, well warranted, given where we are going, right?
Right.
So I appreciate Ms. Walker taking the time to update our plan, so thank you so much.
Motion to
Oh, a
approve
motion to, I thought we were gonna do them all together.
We can do them all together at the end.
We can do them all together.
do 'em all
That's
together at the
easy.
end.
I will take care of that for the folks.
Right, Ken?
So I'm proposing 3 changes.
Okay.
The first on page 6 relates to the bus transportation. Just basically, and this is something that had been done in the past, and we're kind of formalized it and creating a waiver liability form where students that are essentially 5th grade students are able to walk to and from the bus stop. So students in grade 4 and younger are required to have adult supervision at all times at the bus stop, both pick up and drop off. However, students in grade 5 may be allowed to walk to and from the bus stop unsupervised, provided a parent or guardian completes the bus waiver liability form. That's available in our office.
And it'll be on the website too, right?
Indeed, it will.
Speaking of forms on the website, one thing we are going to, again, Courtney's favorite word is add-ons. All those beginning of the year forms are all going to be done digitally. Out of everything we presented tonight,
I just have to find the money.
out of everything we presented tonight, that brought, so Power School, so Power School.
Meg's gonna freak.
I know!
Power School has the
I'm gonna
ability to
freak.
house,
Things that we did, yeah.
to house all of our forms online. So we'll be able to house all of our forms online and do a sign-off for it. But it goes beyond just the beginning of the year forms. Field trip forms will be done on Power School.
We are in the 21st
AP,
century, folks.
Permission slips, any type of forms that need to go out and signed.
DocuSign, just right online.
I don't know if it's DocuSign.
Or something
I still haven't
similar.
seen it, but everything will be done digitally, and if a family moves in let's say March, you can say, just go to Power School and plug it, which is why you've seen myself and principals start pushing the Power School app. The more people who are on Power School, the more people that will use that thing, so we're doing that next year.
Awesomeness. Exciting.
That is so.
We should just say now,
I know.
on a high note.
Now that I only have one kid.
All right.
Thank you. And then on page 7, under bus transportation, just insert cell phone use of any kind is not allowed on the bus, and phones must be stored away at all times in the child's backpack on silent so that it does not cause a disruption. So this is currently the policy in the school, but it wasn't listed as a policy on the buses, and we've had issues where the phones have come out on the buses, and that's been problematic, so we're kind of extending the policy in the school to the buses, and just wanted to state that very clearly. And then under Code of Conduct 19, page 19, Douglas Elementary School students will at all times students are expected to demonstrate respect for their classmates and peers, not only during the school day, but also outside the school hours and beyond the walls of the school building. Sorry for the 2 periods. But what we're seeing is that there's just things that are going on outside of the walls of school that happen. Just today there was an incident, right? But it's something from school, and it's just really just a message to sort of demonstrate that you're You might not be at school, but a lot of times these things come in, or they occur outside of school and come in, and those kind of behaviors that happen between classmates or whatnot are sometimes act as an extension of what goes on, and that gives us some room to work with when we're addressing those kind of situations.
All right, any questions?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. O'Brien?
So you're the overachiever, we got one page. We got the Cliff Note version.
Right, so on the left-hand side, thank you, is the current language and where you would find it in the
Yep.
handbook, the proposed change and the rationale. So I would like to add, at the middle school, under extracurricular, add the National Junior Honor Society, which we kicked off this year. Put it in a handbook for students in grades 6 and 7 with a GPA of 3.5 or higher will be invited to apply for membership in the National Junior Honor Society.
Awesome.
We haven't had that, so we're thrilled.
Yes.
Under the students' roles and responsibility, I would like to add academic detention to assist students who have fallen behind in their schoolwork and are meant to assist the students with missing assignments, have that added in. And that is just giving the parents a call to say, listen, if we'd like to have your child stay after school to make up some work so he or she's not falling too far behind. The parent can decline it, of course, but at least say that help is here if they need it. We don't want the passive learners just to go through the day and let them know if you're not going to do the work in the classroom, then you can say after school and we'll help you get the work done then. That would also abide by 504 and IEP plans, and again, up to the parent, but at least we'll make that phone call and get that message out. And this is a really sad one, under discipline. In November of '22, the state changed the suspension rules, so that we had to follow certain steps before students were suspended. And in there, and this, Dr. Vieira and I have talked about, it might have to go on to Mr. Joyce, Attorney Joyce, but there's a spot for zero tolerance, and I'd like to put in a zero tolerance for students insulting another in respect to their race, color, national origin, sex, gender identity, disability, religion, or sexual orientation will automatically receive a one-day out-of-school suspension. I hate having students suspended out of school, but when I talk to some of our parents, some of their language or names their children are being called on a daily basis, multiple times a day, and hearing the pain in the parent's voice is absolutely horrific. I don't think the students understand how hurtful their words are. We try to do restorative justice and as much as possible, educate them as much as possible. The answer we often hear is, I was just joking with him, he's my friend. There's certain things you shouldn't say in school or the workplace. And the students that are victims of this, they don't want to come forward talking to their parents because they think that's going to invite more. But after several discussions, especially with the parents, dozens of times a day, and multiple students reporting that. And this happens in the hallways or at lunch when there's a little more unsupervised, quiet whispers. It's something that we were not able to stop without an extraordinary measure to take place. And it's very frustrating from my seat to have these students in front of me saying, this is what's happening, and then their parents.
I mean, I'm fully supportive of this, obviously. It's a challenge. We just want to take care of our students, right? And it doesn't matter what you are. So, thank you.
And I think this is, Madam Chair, if I may, I think this is a perfect illustration of what Ms. Bergstrom was saying. You have students that don't want to speak up for fear, and if there's an expectation that they should, even though they're being bullied, and then, it's just messy. So and that's why we want to address it with the
Absolutely,
attorney.
yeah.
But sometimes you have to have zero tolerance. You can't mess around, and I think this is great. not great that you have to do it, but great that, once again, you guys are making the steps that need to be taken, and they're not easy ones. So hopefully this helps.
Thank you.
Okay, just one thing. I like the second one. I really like the second one. I like what it's doing. Can we find a different word than detention?
I second that.
And I forget what it's called at the high school. Because I don't know what it's called.
Academic 411,
Yeah, I just
I
think
like it.
detention carries punitive
Right.
connotation, and where you're saying it's not a disciplinary
Right.
consequence, but the word detention in itself is punitive.
So would the committee accept the change to academic, I just had the word on my tongue.
Support session?
Remediation.
Mediation?
Within the acronym.
Not
Sounds like-
Not remediation, no.
You're right.
Intervention?
Sure.
Academic intervention.
Yeah.
Session, AIS.
They're much better.
We're going to,
It's getting late.
it's getting late.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And last but certainly not least, Mr. Ringett.
You are my overachiever.
That's the entire handbook. It's
entire
only 2
handbook.
pages. Yeah. Courtney already had that. Courtney had a similar heart attack recently, yeah.
No, we are obviously not changing the whole handbook, because that would be ridiculous. We are looking at changing 2 things. The first one's on page 24, under work study. So I had mentioned earlier that education is a practice, and we are all practicing. And sometimes you don't know the loopholes there until the loophole's exposed and people are found. So as we found some of our loopholes, we wanted to make sure we added language to work study that the students will be checked up upon, that if they are, one of the languages, part of the languages here is that we want to add, is that students may be subject to random check-ins or site visits by the work study coordinators or administrator to ensure attendance and performance at the designated placement. Students are expected to conduct themselves professionally at all times. Negative employer feedback, including unprofessional conduct, poor attitude, or failure to complete tasks, may result in a warning or dismissal from the program. Missing or incomplete time cards or journals may result in deduction of credit or removal from the program. Students who are found to be skipping work study and/or forging time cards will receive the lowest grade possible for that term and may be removed from the program or be required to fulfill the remainder of their work study requirements through administration. So that is the update to our work study language. Any questions?
Sounds appropriate. I'll just say that. Sounds appropriate. Integrity, right? Students are gonna have to, because you show up when you're supposed to be, where you're supposed to be. right?
And integrity is one of our core values.
Yep.
Okay. The second change is just the addition of a word to a title on page 65. So on page 65, the original language stated is based off of a grid used for discipline under 37 3/4, so minor disciplines throughout the school day that you might see, things like that. So it originally stated blatant disrespect / opposition to authority. The language that was being requested to be added is insubordination to that. Nothing else changes, just the addition of that word to that spot. And that is the culmination of the request of handbook changes for the high school.
Any questions? You're good to go. Thank you so much.
there a motion to approve?
I'm going to do all of them
Okay.
together.
I'm just, all right.
She didn't forget.
Nope.
I know we're getting late.
Yeah. So I'd be looking for a motion to approve with the adjustments that we made to the handbook changes for the Douglas Public School, Douglas Primary School, Douglas Elementary School, Douglas Middle School, and Douglas High School.
So moved?
There you go, yes. Motion made by Julia, seconded by? Seconded by Beth. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Thanks. Now, off to the Assistant Superintendents of Business and Operations report.
Okay.
Courtney.
All right, thank you very much. So first, what I'd like to do is kind of provide you an update. So at the last school committee meeting, it was brought up that there may be some special education supplies, et cetera, that maybe were not budgeted for FY '25. So Dr. Vieira did send an email out to all principals to make sure they addressed with all of the special education staff in each of their buildings. He did that last week, and this Friday, they are to provide anything from their findings from each school to me by this Friday.
Okay.
So we'll update you going forward. So the next on the agenda is the FY '25 transfers and reclassifications for approval. I do have first for you this evening, the FY '25 general fund transfers number 8. And it's just basically, it's 2 transfers, both for adaptive equipment that we did a purchase order for. We just had to move the money. So we do budget for adaptive equipment in district-wide every year, the special education office, because they don't know which school they're going to have the needs. So what we do is when we do have the needs, then we appropriately transfer the funds from district-wide to the
You had to say the number.
the reclassification number 8, school committee meeting, June 4th, 2025.
Thank you.
Motion made by Becky, seconded by?
Julia?
Seconded by Julia. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstain?
Abstain.
Okay, the next one I have, and I'm so happy to have this, it's the reclassifications number 8, and this is to take care of the remainder of what we received this year on the FY '25 Rural Aid Grant. The reason I waited so long is due to everything that was going on. So I did find, and I did confirm with DESE too, that we could go back to July 1st through June 30th to expend this grant. This is actually a Chapter 70 funky grant. It's not a grant like other grants. So they did confirm that. So I am moving some expenditures from school choice for Panorama, Power School, and then some reading textbooks as well from school choice into the rural aid grant to fully utilize it. We also had done some other expenditures as well. We bought the projector for the high school, and to be honest with you, right now, I can't remember what the other thing was, so, and I don't want to say the wrong thing, but this will take care of the grant fully and have that all expended by June 30th. Does anyone have any questions?
You looking for a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve fiscal year 2025 reclassifications number 8.
Motion made by Julia, seconded by?
Beth.
Seconded by Beth. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone?
Do an update presentation on the school nutrition program.
Try to keep this short and sweet.
So sorry you had to wait.
Oh, no
It's one of the longest nights.
We're going to give her a quiz later on all the things going on.
And listening very intently. Okay. Okay, so just to give you guys, I know I was here at the beginning of the year, so I want to give you an update on kind of what we implemented this year in food services. So something we started this year was local produce Thursdays. I talked about this at the beginning of the year, but as the year went on, we continued to source local produce for the students and feature it on every Thursday. So some of the things that we sourced were local apples from Carlson Orchards. We were able to get these Harvest Crunch salad kits from Bright Farms that we order, and then we put those out on Thursdays as well. And we sourced cinnamon sweet potatoes from Joe Kaczynski's farm as well. And we also have been able to get a few different things. So at the end of the year, as strawberries come in season, I get emails about different farms I can purchase strawberries from. So I'm hoping to get that on the menu just right before school ends. So we'll see if we can do that. Another thing we implemented were action stations. So the burrito bowl is a huge hit. That's our action station. Courtney loves the burrito bowl.
Done it twice last week in middle school and high school.
Someone in this room might have chipped a tooth eating the burrito bowl.
Yes, Paul may have, but I don't think it was due to the
No, I
burrito
don't
bowl.
think so either. No.
He just has weak
Just
teeth.
bad time, like weak teeth.
Exactly, and I can attest to that. We're gonna keep having teeth
That
problems.
was one of the
Get
action
out.
stations we implemented. Later on in the slides, you can see some pictures of it. We did a smoothie bowl action station as well, where students could pick different toppings. So that was exciting, and they really liked that. So I'm hoping we can continue with that next year and add some different things. As far as I know, school lunches will continue to be free in Massachusetts. And I really hope that they do as the years go on. I don't know, but right now we have gotten word that they will continue to be free next year. And then meal participation, which is what I always like to talk about because we get to see how many meals we did throughout the year. So since the start of the school year, we've served over 63,000 breakfasts, 93,000 lunches, totaling 156,000 meals, a little bit over that. And maybe even more than that because I pulled this data last week. So we definitely sold a bit more since then. One of the really exciting things that we implemented in March, which was great for me, makes my job a lot easier, but we transitioned over from NutriKids to Mosaic, which is a new point of sale system. And the team was really great at learning, going through the training. It was kind of a heavy lift for them, and technology is in everyone's strong suit, so they really had to pay attention and go through training before we implemented it. But it's a solution designed to streamline school nutrition services, and it's more up to date and it's cloud-based. So I could see, if I'm at home, I could see that information. When before you couldn't, you had to be in the district to see it. So that's one of the nice features. It also, it's really fast and it saves data. So if internet goes down, which has happened, it actually hasn't happened in a while, which is really good, but it's happened in the beginning of the year, where the internet has gone down and information from NutriKids wouldn't roll over. So students would be going through the line and we would lose, like if 15, 20 students came in, the internet went down, we wouldn't be able to record those lunches. So now you can, that data is saved, so as soon as the internet comes back up, all of it's right there and it's stored in the cloud. So it's really easy to use. It's honestly just been an overall improvement, not only for students, but the staff and myself. It's really helped with this upcoming year when I process the free and reduced applications. It's gonna be very helpful for that because before you had to basically figure out family's income with a calculator. Now you can put that information into the system and it will be able to formulate what eligibility they are. So it's really good, really up to date and fast, and we're liking it so far. So, and I worked with the program in my last district, so that's why I really wanted to bring it here to Douglas.
And before you move on, I'm sorry to interrupt, before you move on, Nelson, we also purchased 7 new, the computer systems, the hardware throughout the entire district. And they were actually like crashing, like not working.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Jake had to come in and Scott had to come in and try to, get them to actually work so we could actually have everybody go through the line. So we're really so pleased that we have all the new hardware throughout the district and the new upgrade to Mosaic.
Yeah, yep, we did that as well. So new technology, and it's been really good. These are just some pictures of the action stations that we did this year. We have the burrito bowl up there, and then the smoothie bowl up there as well, which the kids really liked the smoothie bowl because they were thinking of different places you could go where they get the acai bowls and they can build their own stuff and put stuff in it. So they thought that was really different and cool. So I enjoyed doing that, and we'll definitely do things like that next year. So this is one of our farm to school taste tests. So these were watermelon radish chips that were sourced from Winter Moon Roots Farm. It was an interesting thing to test with the elementary school students. If Ken was still here, he could agree because some kids loved to try it and some didn't. I'm very proud of them though because all of them were willing to try, whether they liked it or not. They were willing to try it. So some kids loved it, and we tried to make them into a salty chip. So we roasted them with olive oil and sea salt, and I thought they were good, but definitely want to, my main goal is to always increase meal participation. I love when students come up to me and tell me their favorite things that they like on the menu and what they would like to see more of. Even if it's not so healthy, I try to incorporate some different things that they're going to like. So by introducing new menu items, getting feedback from our students, I definitely will do some surveys next year to kind of see what they're interested in and what they'd like to see. Implement monthly educational lessons. So starting those taste tests this year, I only did them a couple of times, so I want to increase those times next year and do them more often at the primary and the elementary schools. I like to do the taste tests with them and then the action stations at the secondary schools. And then as always, keeping the staff trained monthly on safety, sanitation, financial compliance. And then assessing capital planning, I definitely want to look at how we can improve the needs at the high school a little bit and possibly get a new serving line for them in the coming years, as the middle school got one recently and it looks really good, and I think the high school could benefit from one as well. So looking into that, and then possibly getting primary school. Right now, they don't cook for themselves up there. Elementary cooks all their food, so elementary will bring the food up there. So eventually, I would love to see primary school being staffed and making their own meals up there as well. And then lastly, continue to build rapport and relationships with the building principals and the students to offer the best nutrition for Douglas. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
I'm hungry again, 'cause it's so late. Usually sleeping.
Yeah. This is probably fake news, but I heard this data point once that somebody tied food to attendance rates. So that's why pizza was always on Fridays to have kids come in. So I think the burrito bowl should be on whatever day. Students don't come to school on. If it's a Monday, move burritos there.
Really good point.
Yeah, that is true.
Lunch is so important, not obviously for the obvious reasons, but I think for the parent-student connection. And, I ask my kids, I'm like, how was school? Good? But if I want an answer, I ask, what did they have for lunch?
Or was it good?
Yeah, was it good? I get all the info, like, I tried. I'm like, did you try it? Yeah, I only ate this. Or, like, the chicken nuggets were the best thing I ever had in my life. I'm like, they were that good. They're like, yeah, they were really good. So it starts a conversation, and the kids will actually, participate in.
Yeah.
So, you're not only just creating nutrition and, a lunch and teaching them about food, but you're creating connections, maybe even unknowingly at home.
Yeah.
So thank you. Thank you for all this.
And I love this taste test. This
Oh, it's
is
great.
amazing.
Yeah, and every time I do it, like, teachers will come, like, can I try? And I'm like, of course. So it's nice and to talk to them about different stuff too. And I think lunchtime is what students look forward to in the day, so I like to make it
Food
fun.
is such a huge culture builder, honestly.
Definitely.
And I'll say this, and I don't know if, I'm sure Connie touched on it. First off, Allison's done an amazing job. And her ability to build relationships with her staff and with principals and with kids is great. The kitchen staff here are incredible. I'm in the middle school. I bounce around to different buildings, and I see they're so kind to our kids. They're great to our kids. They're awesome to adults as well, too. The food, it's good. It's funny, like, I'll actually promote it, and I'll tell teachers, hey, you got to try it. And they're hesitant. I go, no, seriously, try it. And they're like, this is actually pretty good. The food's good. Allison had a great idea earlier this week when we met. We're going to tease it today about parent-teacher conferences. So we'll tease it. You want to share your idea?
Yeah, I think that we could probably showcase some of this at the parent-teacher conferences and do samples there. And I've done it before in the districts I've worked in, so they can, families can see, parents can see kind of what we're serving the kids. And then also get feedback too from families and kids and kind of what they make at home, like.
Families could eat it?
Yeah, yes. Yes.
All right. We should showcase. It's like,
We're going to showcase, we're hoping,
All about this.
we're actually trying to increase participation at parent-teacher conferences at the high school. So if we can,
It would be samples.
it would be sample.
So don't come too hungry.
It would be a great way to get parents, again, some parents who may not have come to conferences to be able to come to attend, but also to give our cafeteria staff and Allison the ability to highlight and showcase the great foods that they're preparing for kids. And again, like I did the quick math, the 96,000 lunches, it's roughly about 560 students per day purchasing lunch, about 40% of kids. Again, it'd be great to get that participation a little bit higher, but we have close to half of our kids eating school lunch, which I'll go back to my days as a student and as a principal. It was nowhere near that number, close to half, which is awesome.
Especially since it's free.
Yeah.
That's the key, right? It's free.
Correct.
And so that would help, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Or some of the cafeteria initiatives that and like, I love everything, like, the concept, everything that you're doing. You're moving the district forward. Obviously, food feeds our kids' minds, you know, we can get the breakfast number, because that's the most important meal of the day.
Yeah.
Anything we can do that to get the community involvement, because once they know, I mean, I know they know, but conceptually, I don't know that they know what actually the breakfast is and what actually the lunch is, right? So anything that we can do, I fully support. Thank you for all that you do.
Thank you. Thank you
And
very
your
much.
staff too as well.
Yes, they, honestly, the staff couldn't do it without them. They take a ton of pride in what they do. So it's really good to see. It's refreshing, so. Well, thank you very much.
And
Thank you so much for coming.
before Allison leaves, because she's getting kind of close to the end of her first year here, but I can't say enough what a fabulous job she has done. And like I said, they were right. She's done a fabulous job this year, and I know she'll continue to do more and more. And again, her staff, I can't say enough about the staff. And again, to reiterate what she said, when you put big changes, new systems, new hardware, especially when the next day you have to serve lunch. You know, you've got a new point of sale system, you've got new hardware, you have and they really have done great. They've embraced, and that is the word, they have embraced the changes, that have come. And even some of the foods, like the burrito bowl,
Yeah.
the first time, there was a lot of prep work they had to do. The second time, it wasn't as many meats that
Yeah,
she
we
had on there.
simplified
But I'll
it
tell
a
you,
little.
they really did embrace it. They pulled it off, they did it, and, so kudos goes to all the staff as well.
I think the burrito bowl was so good, Courtney had it twice, you had it back-to-back days.
Yeah, I did. I went, middle school here, and I drove up to the high school,
I'll sign the paperwork on that day.
call it-
I know what's for lunch.
She did it under the umbrella of quality control,
Absolutely.
so it worked,
Yeah,
it fit that
yeah.
umbrella.
No, just wanted to go get that. I knew
It was
gonna be
good.
It was good.
I knew
Nothing wrong with that.
Okay, thank you very
Thank you,
much,
Allison.
Allison.
Thank you so much for coming in. Sorry so late.
No worries.
And now for the next hour, no, I'm only kidding.
I'll pull a Megan Reed.
That was a bad joke, huh? So, with no further ado, I'll quickly present the last item on the agenda. So we finally did get the final audit report for the FY 2024 end-of-year financial report, and there were, as they put it, everything was performed without exceptions. So there was nothing noted.
That is awesome, Courtney.
So
It
when I-
proves the fidelity of the information that we provide and, your fiduciary responsibility, not only to the school, but to the town, as well as to the taxpayers in the town, the district. This is huge. So congratulations, because it's very rare that everybody gets clean audits. So congratulations.
It's like a final ode to your hard work.
Yeah, they have been, but earlier on, we did have some where you had, this little change here, that little change there, but, recently. But, and with the Student Activity Fund one, hopefully I'll get, I had a little bit of I'll call it an issue with their new agreements that they want signed. So I am working through them. I guess I kind of, I shocked them a little bit, and it's going to be a while before I'm going to hear from them, I think, so. Some of the language, you know how things are these days. It gets a
Yep.
little bit more complicated. Everything is.
Yep.
So, and that's it. That is it.
That is awesome.
Emotion.
Any topics not
There are no
anticipated?
topics not anticipated at this night.
I'd be looking for a motion.
I move to adjourn the June 4th school committee meeting at 9:39 PM.
I second.
Motion made by Beth, seconded by Julia. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Have a
Good night,
wonderful evening.
everyone.
Guys.